Hey gang, this is the Glatt Properties Podcast, episode 4. It's Monday morning, wake up, know you're on the way to work, so let's go. This one is about relying on other people in real estate. Again, the weekend is over, it's back to work, and the idea of this particular episode is to get you in the right frame of mind and get you prepared for the uncomfortable reality that is real estate and working in real estate and working with other people and whatnot. If you ever get a feeling that everybody at the closing table has their own agenda, you are 100% correct, because that is true. Everybody has their own agenda. The agents are supposed to represent their particular clients. The clients, want to get something from the other individual. Title just wants to be clean, wrapped up, close it out. Too easy, no strange questions about any of the loan stuff. If the lender is there, which is a rarity, if your lender is there, they probably have gotten a lot of business from you, or they see that you probably could provide them a lot of business. And they want to be there to shake a hand, say hello, meet the individual that's probably going to be paying for their new Benz. And that's okay. The reason why we get into real estate is to make the money to buy that Benz, that BMW, that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th rental property. So let's get to it. Relying on other people in real estate. This is a horrible thing to do if you're starting out and you have no track record, no formal relationship with anybody that's in the business. You've got a referral from a friend. You've got a client that does a little bit of this, that, and the other thing. Basically, what I want to prepare you for is, are you relying on somebody to get you out of bed, put your pants on, and get to work or your appointments on time today, this Monday morning? No, you're not. No, it's on you. And that's how you have to look at everything in real estate. There's a thing called buyer beware. In I believe most states have buyer beware. There's a Latin term, but the translation is buyer beware, which means that if you are going to buy a property, you have to be prepared for the responsibility that comes with it, because the day that you close or assume ownership of the property, that is yours to worry about. And that's why you need to do your due diligence. You have to have those difficult conversations. You have to learn how to deal with emotional people that think they deserve everything in the deal. This comes up a lot when you deal with very needy individuals, people that are always used to getting their way. If anybody ever tells you that they always get what they want in real estate, hightail it out of there, because that person is going to make your life a living nightmare. And they most likely aren't going to provide you with anything fantastic or wonderful, because they basically burned every bridge that they had in business. So sometimes it's best to know when to break up with somebody, say no, or not even get involved. When you see a red flag, say, yeah, you know what, I may not be the best person for you, or I may not be the best person to work with, but I have somebody that might be just what you're looking for. And then basically hand them off and run away. But this is part of the process, okay? And the concept of relying on others in real estate is simply a concept. It's something that you have to think about, something that you have to consider. There's not really a lot of things that we can discuss or I can talk about on the dangers of relying on other people. But the best thing to take into account would be, who's a better bet, you or someone that you have a business relationship with? Well, I think most people are going to bet on themselves, because they have their own goals and best interests in mind all the time and everything that they do. So think about it like that, okay? An example of what I probably could have done better or thought better or been better at would be to expect somebody that's working for me, an agent that's working for me, to negotiate for me the way that I negotiate. I don't want to say I've gotten screwed over or whatever the case may be. It's business. I signed this individual on. They did the job to their abilities. I'm not going to say they did the job to the best of their abilities. I don't know what the best of their ability is. I just know what the service that they provided me with. It really just wasn't up to my standard. if you're working with an agent, you gotta look for the flags. You gotta look for the signs. If you're under contract with a buyer agency agreement, and you're expecting this person to have your best interest in mind, where they don't, or they've given up, or they've considered the transaction closed, is if they completely pass you off to the transaction coordinator if they have one. Now, I have 3 admins. At any point in time, I can call one of them, and they can get me an answer. Most agents don't. Most agents have a transaction coordinator. We have a very big team. We did $62 million worth of real estate sales last year. We have a huge team, actually, now that I say that out loud. If you immediately get passed off to the transaction coordinator or the administrative assistant, and you never hear from your agent, you don't even get a courtesy call 2 times a week, just to make sure that you're okay, just to annoy you and remind you that they're still here. That's when you know that they've given up, and you have to go your separate ways after that transaction, because they're not going to have your best interest in mind. They have their own best interest in mind. They've considered your transaction closed, at the time that it's going under agreement, and that is absolutely the worst thing to do. The deal is done when everybody leaves the closing table. So until that point in time, your agent should be letting you know that they're here, they're monitoring, they're watching, they're observing, they're connecting X, Y, and Z. This is just one little sign to look at to see who has your best interest in mind and who you can rely on in real estate. It's a really challenging experience, but it's completely necessary for you to grow. As long as you are doing everything that you can from wherever you are in the transaction, whether that be a coordinator, an inspector, a buyer, a seller, whomever, what is going to happen is going to happen, and if it's meant to be, it will be. The real estate gods are a funny bunch, and you can't fight them. You will lose every single time, and it's going to cost you money. So don't. But you do have to be the one in charge of your real estate journey, and not expect anything from anyone. In those small moments when you get something for nothing, and that does happen, there actually is such a thing as a free lunch, but it doesn't come in the form of free, and it doesn't come in the form of lunch. It comes in the form of somebody screwing up, standing up, sounding off like they have a pair and said, I screwed this up, I'm going to make this right. If you don't think that this happens in business, you're not in the right circle. You're not in the right space. There was a gentleman that did this years ago, and I knew from that day forward I could rely on him, and I still connect with him. I still know him very well. I've been to his house. We have a fantastic business relationship because he showed me that he could raise his hand and say, that was me, the one that screwed up. I did that wrong, and I'm going to make it right, even if it's uncomfortable for me and my family. So for that one, buddy, I salute you on sounding off like that. And I hope everybody that's listening to this looks for that in an individual that's going to represent them or work for them in this real estate space. And the more you work with people, the more you'll find that those that are not afraid to say that they screwed up, they somehow miraculously get a lot of business, and they make a lot of money, and they work for a lot of people. Interesting correlation right there. I don't know, something to think about. But anyway, relying on others in real estate, hey, rely on yourself first and last. Anybody else that can help you out along the way is just a benefit. So with that being said, have a great Monday. Everybody have a great week. Kick some ass, take some names, and we'll catch you on the next one. Alrighty? Stay safe, gang.